Well, hello everybody, Mr. O here, and today I'm going to talk about negative drawing. Not drawing that you get negative comments about, but drawing in the reverse way. Now, let's discuss what negative drawing really is. So I'm going to grab this. It's a print of the skull picture. Some of you have seen that from previous videos. And when we draw, especially when we draw with black, we draw the outlines, we draw the details, and so that is actually a positive drawing. We're adding the details. When we do negative drawing, we have to leave the details behind. As you can see the picture that I started with. Now, does that mean we don't put some of the details into with the lighter color? No, we do. But when we do a true negative drawing, we leave the details behind. This is going to be a project that I'll be doing with one of my art classes. So if you're interested in it, let me just go over some of the basics. The black paper that we're going to use is a Bristol board by Richardson. It's kind of expensive. It's 50 cents a sheet, basically. If you can, the more you buy, of course, the cheaper it is. I'm using a silver pen, generic silver pen, and like any gel pen, I store them upside down. But you can also use the white gel pen for this. This is a great white gel pen project, and that's what most of you guys have. Now, I will tell you, when it comes to erasing, that's where things can get a little different, because can you do this on black paper? Yes, you can. And they have high quality black paper. What makes this Bristol board kind of nice is that when I draw in pencil, I'm hoping this will come through the video, I can erase, and when I wipe away, you can kind of see, maybe you can't see, let me pick it up. There's a little bit of a smudge. Not as much as there is on black paper. When you do like black art paper, you can kind of see where the erasing is. That's where black erasers are great. When you erase with the black eraser, it doesn't leave behind the same smudge. It's different. Maybe not a lot different, but it is different. So it is something that you need to consider. Like when my art students do this, they won't have the black erasers, at least not this year. This is something I'm going to build up to, and even though they don't really need it for this paper, it's something I want them to have, so that way if they go a little too hard, they won't leave any smudge behind, and the black erasers will help them with that. So let's talk about the actual project that I'm doing with them. So I chose to do a skull. And now this is a project, since it'll be in more of an advanced class, they'll get to choose the subject matter for the first time completely themselves. So let's just say I'm a skull guy. I have skulls ready for me to look at as my inspiration. It could be a dragon. It could be a realistic animal. They'll get to choose that. Now, as I said, the definition, which is what we're getting to, is the reverse of drawing. We are not just drawing the details, we're leaving the details behind. So whatever subject matter that's chosen, I wouldn't do a simple cartoon face. You could, but you would have to actually be pretty high level to show the negative drawing, okay? And for me, the skull was pretty easy to do. Think of white, black, you leave the black behind. And what I'm gonna have my students do is, no matter what they choose to do, it's gonna be just all pointillism. They're not going to draw a line. I'm gonna just do part of the jawbone. They have to do pointillism. And now when they build it up, could it look like they drew a line? It is possible. If you look at some of this, now some of it's the pencil line still going through because I sketched it out, but once I erase that, the converging dots is going to make it look like a line and give it weight and mass. The whole point of adding value is to show the illusion of weight and mass. And as you can see with pointillism, I start off where the lightest part is, and then I will loosen and spread the dots around. I won't press as hard and get a smaller dot. Every pen should be able to get 3 levels of dot. You got the hard press, you got a quick press, and then just the lightest, and you get 3 different. It may look similar to you, but as you can see when I go through, I feel like maybe I do a better job when I just do it instead of try to explain it. But as you guys want me to do, to just talk as I make the videos, I'm gonna do that. Now, I will do everything around here thinking this is probably my lightest side here with a little light gleams over here to show the details. Now, maybe in the future, when my art room has a little more money, I will also buy a gold pen, and that way they can accent something in gold to differentiate it from the silver. I just think the silver is cool because it relates to the scratch art project that they've done in the past. If you try that scratch art project on that scratch board, you'll understand because it's silver underneath. So hopefully they're getting a better connection. But unlike the scratch board, what do you do when you make a mistake? If you really take a look at this part of the skull that I've already done, take a look at the 2 eyes. We have the right eye and we have the left eye. And I think you would agree that the left eye looks like it has a better form of value, a better pupil, where I made a mistake. And there's different ways of handling a mistake. One, you can just go with it and just do exactly what you did your mistake with all throughout the artwork, and sometimes that looks beautiful. But let's just say you just stopped it and you just didn't continue it like I did. I left the eye. What do I do at the very end? This is something like I have a black paint marker, and it's a very thin tip. Now, it may look okay and it may not. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the pupil, and I'm going to just slowly make it a little larger. I don't do it all at once because anytime you deal with a paint marker, if you push too hard, you might drag it through the paper itself until I find that balance. As you can see, I got the pupil similar in size, and I'm gonna go, okay, I'll leave it there. And also when it dries, it'll dry a little duller it'll match the paper a little more. And then maybe go back in, and this is where I'll just go in with some dots, just like I did the silver, and kind of puts that shadow like I had around the first eye, okay? So if you do make a mistake, like in my class, they're not gonna have access to the black pen. So they'll have to get their own paint marker. Again, this is something maybe in the future, I'll have a bunch of black pens for this various reason. So if this is the future, you don't have to worry about. If it's this current year, I may not have anything. So let's just take a look, even though it's not dry yet, because I'll have to do maybe a couple layers on top of a silver pen. Let's look at the right one and the left one again. As you can see, I think that brings a lot more depth to it. So when you do this project, one, don't worry about doing this full-blown background to start with. Start with a character and a subject matter, anything that you think would look good in light and dark. Because the key is to leave a lot of the black paper to come through for shadow. It is important in negative drawing that you leave a lot of the black too, as much as you bring out, as you can see in the cheeks. You notice I didn't touch anything in the eye sockets because they're going to be solid black. Use the darkness of the paper to your advantage. And I always recommend, you know, not cartoon characters, especially when you're learning to do this, because that's the idea of us doing any of these projects, is that you're learning. You take good care of the tips of your pens, you don't smash them in. And then, like for me, I'm doing pointillism, and my students will do pointillism on this project. But could they do another version of this and do a lot more like line drawing and then add hatch marks? Absolutely. They could do line drawing and then add pointillism later. But in this project, it's important for students to also learn, and maybe you like the idea that you're developing, you know, where the shadows are, where the light touches. And it's a lot easier to do that with pointillism, and it's great practice. Pointillism and inking really goes hand in hand, and it's a good technique to learn, even though it's time consuming. So don't be afraid of that. So I hope that makes sense to anybody. Any questions, leave them in the comments. And as always, you are loved. And I want you guys to have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.